Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of In the School Parking Lot. My name is Paul Everts. I'm your host. Today I'm recording this on November the 9th. It'll be published on November 16th. It's just good to know when I'm reading this. For the new people, it's a 30-second quick introduction. I was a teacher from 1989 till December 20th, 2021. Retired early because I just couldn't do the directives anymore. I could not leave Jesus Christ in the parking lot. Or stop saying I love you to my students and get off social media. I'm not bitter about it. I love it. It's giving me a chance to create a new me. I do miss my friends because they did leave me. But you know what? Hey, with the election of President Trump, maybe I'm going to get new friends. My old friends, always welcome to come back. I would love to be with you again. There's nothing wrong on my side. So, yeah, that's my introduction. So what we do is that, again, the principal told me April 7th or around April 7th, 2021, Paul, I tell you, he's got to leave Jesus Christ in the parking lot. So we're in the parking lot because that's where, I guess, Jesus is hanging out. Jesus is everywhere, though. He's everywhere. All right, so I read stories about education, and I'm reading from a book, and I'll get that book right now for you. Marxification of Education by James Lindsay. Just a couple paragraphs, just so you would go out and buy the book. And see what's going on with education. I think we're going to see a lot of changes these next 4 years with education. All right. We do with every president, right? Anyway, Common Core, the STAR test. Oh, my gosh. All right. Anyway, what's today's story? Okay, here's today's story. Episode 37, November 16th. School choice helps close performance gap for low-income students study finds. This is by Jaron Crouson, Crouson. It's published October 14th. Yeah, this is kind of an old story. Even though it's November the, 6th, 9th, and I'm reading, you're seeing it November 16th. Wow, October 14th is a long time ago. All right, the story is cities with robust charter school programs have drastically lowered the performance gap between low-income students and their peers, a study published in October found. And just so you know, I do teach at a charter school now. Don't say what it is because I don't want to get in trouble. So the Progressive Policy Institute, PPI, found that student performance rose in every city with a majority of low-income students when 33% or more are enrolled in a charter school, according to the report. Non-white students make up a large percentage of those benefiting from school choice policies. Oh, school choice policies are so good. Quote, our report belies the fact, or believes the fact, oft heard but unfounded criticism. It says belies, I'm sorry. Our report belies the oft heard but unfounded criticism that charters somehow drain legacy schools of the best students and resources to the detriment of those left behind, PPI wrote. Continues. Evidently, the growth of enrollment in charter schools creates a positive competitive dynamic with the traditional district schools, which have to up their game to attract parents and students. And then continues, between 2010, 2011, in 2023 school years, the achievement gap between low-income students and their peers was narrowed by 42% in Camden, New Jersey, where 68% of students were enrolled in charter schools by 2023, according to the report. Low-income student performance rose by 20% in Camden from 2011 to 2023, as the percentage of students attending charter schools increased. School choice, that's the answer. You want to have different pronouns? School choice. You want to have a chance to have a humanist, secularist curriculum? School choice. You want a chance to have a moment of silence in your school, or every classroom has a Bible in the class? School choice. School choice. And well, you already have school choice, Paul. Do you? I don't think so. I think school choice is what we're talking about, is that the parents get money, and then they take their money and they go to school with it. I think competition is good, and I would like us to see a better push for school choice, and maybe President-elect Trump will do that. All right, here you go. I'm not reading everything, but that's the book. I'd love you to get the book. I've met James Lindsay. I like James Lindsay. He's a good guy. He is controversial. Anybody who speaks their mind is controversial nowadays. All right, so here we go. This is going to be the introduction of the book, The Theft of Education. Much of the theory and practice of education employed today in North American schools is derived directly with certain contextual updates and modifications from the work of a Brazilian Marxist radical by the name of Paulo Freire, F-R-E-I-R-E. While Paulo Freire is not exactly a household name in the United States, Freire is a household name and figure of educational legend in all North American colleges of education. So is his approach, which is called critical pedagogy or critical education theory, in colleges of education throughout North America. In fact, Freire is revered and his work is considered virtually sacrosanct. Paulo Freire is recognized as the third most cited scholarly author in all the humanities and social sciences by authoritative metrics. It exaggerates none at all to state that Paulo Freire is at the theoretical center of everything happening in colleges of education today, and from there our nation's schools. A succinct way to phrase the consequences of his influence on education is that our kids go to Paulo Freire schools. What this means is nothing short of the theft of education. Something that looks like education remains, but is no longer education. It is political brainwashing to see the world, quote unquote, on the side of the oppressed. So central to his views is the transformation of education that Freire's magnum opus bears a description of it in the title. It is the pedagogy of the oppressed, in which educators and learners together are instructed to die and be resurrected on the side of the oppressed and into a faith in permanent struggle. Students are transformed into learners who learn virtually nothing except two things. Number one, how to view the world from the standpoint of the oppressed. And number two, to denounce the dehumanizing conditions of the world as seen from the perspective in a way that simultaneously announces the potential for something better. Read, more socialist, equitable, and socially just. Last couple sentences and I'll leave you alone. The mechanism for this theft of education was straightforward and generational. Capture and transform the colleges of education, mold a generation of teachers, program every generation of students thereafter. The teachers have been replaced with activists, and education has been turned into conscientization. It's a hard word to say. The process of seeing the world from the so-called standpoint of the oppressed. Yikes. Culturally relevant and responsive teaching, decolonizing the curriculum, student-led project-based learning, and social-emotional learning, especially transformative social-emotional learning. That's what they're doing. Other programs like Comprehensive Sexuality Education, CSE, including the abominable practice of Drag Queen Story Hour, in which drag queens, adult men dressed as sexualized women, do drag performances for children while reading to them in school libraries and classrooms, graft themselves into Freirean generative method. It is because of this methodological approach that they are able to do what they do and to justify their inclusion in childhood education. This is the last part. Some of these trends are direct and intended consequences of Freirean pedagogy. These include focusing on social issues, though, through broadly Marxian social theories like critical race theory, the democratic, that is ungovernable, the democratic classroom, and the grooming of children into critically conscious activist change agents. These are the reasons Freirean pedagogy was developed in the first place. Okay, and then it goes on from there. It's just dry. I don't want to bore you too much. Please consider getting the book, okay? And then you do your thing. Like the next chapter is who is Paulo Freire? Maybe you need to find out who Paulo Freire is. Okay, we do have a Venmo account. We'd love to have your donation. It's not really donations because we're not a nonprofit, but it does cost us to have social media. So please do that. And I hope that you will stay with us and you'll be with us next week for another story. Let's take a look at what that story is going to be. Why not? Let's see, the story next week, November 23rd, is Governor Walz, education appointee, overthrow America because it's irreversibly racist. That story, it's September 26th. It's an old story, but at least you can see what Governor Walz is thinking. All right. God bless you guys. Thanks a lot for watching and supporting me. Bye-bye.